Good morning, bachcho. How do you do? I hope you are fine. So this is the next chapter in our syllabus of the second book, that is Vistas. I hope you would have enjoying the previous chapters, and I am sure, not only sure but 100% sure that a student is right now thinking that the sir would ask us about the picture here at the top, because we always begin with the description of the picture at the top. Of course, bachcho, it's quite a hazy picture and a bit of dark is seen here. The reason behind it can be that the picture itself would express that something action would be going in the dark, that is in the night. I won't reveal this at the outset of the story, but we can see, we can imagine that it's a boat. Someone is rowing a boat and it's quite dark, that is in the night. Now, definitely I have read this chapter earlier, that's why I can impose. Rather, I can make you see the picture according to my eyes. But when you view yourself, at least one can imagine that it's a boat and someone is rowing the boat and it's a time of dark. Now, who is this man who is rowing the boat? What exactly happened with him? Why and where is he going right now? The answers to all of these questions you will be getting in the forthcoming chapter, that is The Enemy. Bachcho, written by Pearl S. Buck. Now, who is the enemy? Which person has been referred here as an enemy? What exactly happens in the chapter? You will have to read the chapter, you will have to hear the chapter, and then only you will come to know that what exactly has been said, told in the chapter. Written by Pearl S. Buck. So we are in a habit that when we start with the chapter, we always read before you read. It is the time of the World War. An American prisoner of war is washed ashore in a dying state and is found at the doorstep of a Japanese doctor. So, bachcho, the backdrop of the story is of the World War. World War was going on, and America and Japanese, who are the two major enemy of each other, an American prisoner of war is washed ashore. A prisoner of war gets or comes ashore in a dying state and is found at the doorstep of a Japanese doctor. And who finds it? A Japanese doctor. Now, the question is, should he save him as a doctor or hand him over to the army as a patriot? This is a very, very difficult question and a dilemma in which this Japanese doctor finds himself into. A complete 10, 15, 20 minutes of him is in a dilemma when he, that is Japanese doctor, and his wife stands nearby that wounded prisoner of war, thinking what should be the best thing to do with that prisoner of war. He is in a great confusion, he is in a great dilemma. Should he save him as a doctor? Because he has been taught in the course of medicine and surgery that his first and foremost duty is to save a man who is wounded, who is in a dying state, but at the same time, patriotness. His being patriot urges him that he should hand that prisoner of war to the army. what exactly happens? Do he behave like a doctor, or is he a staunch patriot? Let us see, observe, hear and read what exactly happened in the story. A very beautiful, interesting story, that how Dr. Sadao comes out of that dilemma. So bachcho, let us begin with the story. Let's see what happens in the story next. So let us begin with the chapter, bachcho. Dr. Sadao Hoki's house was built on a spot of Japanese coast where, as a little boy, he had often played. The low square stone house was set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined with bent pines. So we see at the outset, we see the early life of Dr. Sadao, how his house was built on a spot of Japanese coast and how he used to play often in that coast. And it was a special house built at a low square stone and well above a narrow beach, and that was outlined with bent pines. Outlined, bachcho, outlined means made the boundary. Outlined is made the boundary, boundary, made the boundary with the bent pines, and the pine trees were there. As a boy, Sadao had climbed the pines. When Sadao was a small boy, he used to climb the pine trees, supporting himself on his bare feet, and he used to get support of his bare feet, as he had seen men do in the South Seas when they climbed for coconuts, as he had seen the people in the southern seas where people used to climb the trees of the coconut. His father had taken him often to the islands of those seas, and never had he failed to say to the little brave boy at his side, "Those islands yonder, Sadao, can you see those islands yonder, at a distance in view?" Underline this word, yonder, at a distance in view. Those islands yonder, they are the stepping stones to the future for Japan. Can you see? They are the stepping stones to the future for Japan. Where shall we step from them? Sadao had asked seriously, and Sadao used to ask his father seriously that where shall we step from them? And the father used to answer, "Who knows? Who can limit our future? It depends on what we make it." Bachcho, how true it is in today's context. Japan, which is one of the most prosperous and developed countries, and how true his father was when he said, "It depends on what we make it." Who can limit whose future? It all depends on what we make our future like. Sadao had taken this into his mind very seriously, and as he did everything his father said, his father, who never joked or played with him, but who spent infinite pains upon him, who was his only son. Bachcho, Sadao's education was his father's primary concern. Sadao knew that his education was his father's chief concern. For this reason, he had been sent at 22 to America to learn all that could be learned of surgery and medicine. And this was the reason why Sadao was sent at the age of 22 to America to learn about surgery and medicine, to take his medical science degree. He had come back at 30, and before his father died, he had seen Sadao become famous not only as a surgeon but as a scientist, because he was perfecting a discovery which would render wounds entirely clean He had not been sent abroad with the troops, and this was the reason why Sadao was not sent abroad with the troops. Bachon was not sent abroad with the troops because we are reading the chapter when it was set at World War. So some doctors are also sent during the war, and he was such a perfectionist doctor that he should have been sent, but the reason behind not sending him with the troops was also he knew there was some slight danger that the old general might need an operation for a condition for which he was now being treated medically. And one of the important reasons was the Japanese general. He was in a slight danger. He was quite old and he might have needed an operation for what he has been treated medically. And for this possibility, Sadao was being kept in Japan. And this was also one of the reasons for keeping Sadao in Japan.